Sam Altman now leaving Microsoft. I mean, look, did he even have time to have a door pass made? Was there a contract even signed here? I think all of this ultimately makes Microsoft look really, really stupid. They've thrown billions of dollars at this company, which clearly has a really ineffective governance structure in place. And now the key asset, Sam Altman, is leaving Microsoft to go back to said company, and Microsoft still is without board seat. What happens next here?
Yeah, hi, Dan, and thanks for having me on the show. Look, from a Microsoft standpoint, the positives to begin with are that if we look at where they end up, they probably do get some representation. Maybe they do get a board seat. So from that standpoint, they'll be better off than they were just a week ago. And the second thing is they did manage this crisis well so far. They obviously gave Sam Altman a place to kind of stay for a couple of days while he sorted things out at OpenAI. That calmed markets' nerves because investors knew that should OpenAI not be able to come out of this crisis, that probably Sam and his team would end up at Microsoft, so there would be some continuity. But clearly, finding themselves in this situation in the first place for Microsoft was a bit concerning. $13 billion of investment, tying their products to OpenAI's technology, but without having a say on what goes on, without having a board seat, and really being surprised by what's happened. It was not a good place to find themselves in to begin with.
Bingo. And OpenAI has just been left looking completely rudderless and chaotic from a governance perspective. And this is one of the most important companies in the world right now. You would think that they would have a better handle on what is exactly going on there. But Stefan, to your point, the thinking was that Nadella had basically acquired OpenAI's best asset here, which is Sam Altman, for next to nothing. Now that Altman is back at OpenAI, you say Microsoft is better off. Can you expand on what you mean by that and what this ultimately means for Microsoft's AI ambitions moving forward, given it's basically outsourced a key part of that to this open AI structure that still we don't really understand?
Yeah, sure. So when we look at last week, obviously last week, Microsoft had no board representation, had no say in what would happen at OpenAI. They were caught off guard by his firing. So as we come through this process on the other end of it, they probably will have more say. OpenAI will have better governance. And so from that standpoint, Microsoft is a little bit better off. But you're absolutely right. It's very unlikely that the governance changes that drastically at OpenAI. They will continue this kind of mission, if you will, to develop AI in a responsible manner. But from Microsoft's standpoint, from Microsoft's customers and partners standpoint, they may want to be going faster. And so there's still a lot of work for OpenAI to do here when they put that board together. There's a lot of people to please. You have the employees and you have that sort of human-centric mission about developing AI responsibly. You have the financial backers, Microsoft and the venture capitalists who maybe want to go a bit more quickly. You have the chief scientist, Ilya, who was one of the ones who pushed out Sam Altman, who's really arguably one of the brains behind GPT. Is he going to stay? And what would he want the board to look like? And then finally, you've got Sam Altman himself. Sam Altman's in demand. Yes, he's not going to Microsoft. For now, he's staying at OpenAI. But if we end up with a board that's very complex with lots of different pulling parties, is that something that he's going to want longer term? So we're not out of the woods yet here. There's still a process to go through for OpenAI over the coming, most likely, weeks to determine what the governance structure looks like.